Greetings, everyone! Unfortunately, I had originally done this in a vlog style video because I wanted you guys to see me face to face, but for some odd reason, YouTube would not accept the format of the video, and I even had a tough time going into Windows Movie Maker trying to get this thing set up and fixed. So unfortunately, guys, I'm going to have to do a picture slideshow here. And I guess answer your Q&A questions, which was not really how I wanted to do it, but sometimes these things can't be helped. But anyway, I didn't really get as many questions as I thought I was actually going to get, which depressed me a little bit. But, oh well. Such is life. You don't always exactly get what you want. Maybe next time. Maybe next time I might get a few more questions. Hopefully, optimistically. Anyway, I'm rambling on and wasting time. Now, I'm going to start with Mr. Emerald 123. And here are his 6 questions. If an Avengers 2 movie is made, do you think Thanos will be in it? I really have my fingers crossed. I really hope that Thanos will actually show up. But then again, they've already kind of confirmed in Avengers 2 that they're going to face Thanos. So, it's already been kind of hinted, but even then, I'm still excited to see the Mad Titan take on the Avengers. Number 2 correlates to that. If Thanos is in Avengers 2 movie, who do you think should play him? You know, I answered this in the previous attempt at this, and the answer is still the same. I have no freaking clue who could play him. I don't even know if they made Thanos CG who would voice him. I have no clue at all. I can't think of anyone that could really have the voice to be able to balance out the Mad Titan. At least nobody off the top of my mind. Excuse me, so I guess I'll have to kind of leave that one blank. Because I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head that could do it. Unless they did like a whole bunch of sound tests. Number 3. If you had one of the Infinity Gems, which one would it be? You know, if I had to choose between one of them, the only two that I could really choose between is either the Time Gem, which warps all time and reality, or the Soul Gem. I would probably more than likely go for the Soul Gem. So, Soul Gem is pretty much my answer to which Infinity Gem I would probably take. Number 4. Do you think that Jeff Loeb is making a huge mistake by canceling Earth's Mightiest Heroes? Check the series overview that I did with Ziploc Gory and Tanaka Khan and F.W. Waller and all them on the Ziploc Archives channel, and you'll pretty much know my opinion. But then again, I'll go ahead and reiterate what I said. Actually, I won't even reiterate what I said. Actually, I'll just give you like a 1 or 2 word answer. Yes, I do firmly believe that he is making not only a grave mistake in canceling the show, but a grave mistake in basically getting his career sunk down the crapper a lot more. And I could go on to a whole tirade about Jeff Loeb, but I'm not going to sit here and do some Jeff Loeb bashing, even though I would like to and say something that is very personal and hurtful about him. Those of you that actually study Jeff Loeb know where I would go with that statement. But anyway, number 5. Which anime, video game, or comic book fight is your favorite? Anime-wise, probably one of the biggest, probably the 2 biggest anime fights that I enjoyed and it was one that I had found on YouTube, but I still thought was a great epic battle, was probably Kenshin versus Sato, I believe is the character's name, from Rurouni Kenshin. That fight that they had in the dojo, that was pretty damn epic in its own right. But that's not to be outdone by the fight that was inspired by the 80s anime version of Guyver. For those of you who have seen the David Hayter Guyver 2 movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. In terms of video game, there are many great epic, video game battles, but I think the one that really tops it, that I don't think anybody's been able to do in terms of emotion, and so on and so forth, because it's a lot more of an emotional battle, I feel, is the fight at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4 between Old Snake and Ocelot. That to me was probably one of the most epic and emotionally engaging fights, because you didn't just face, it wasn't just, two old war horses going at it one more time, but it was almost like you were fighting through different eras in Snake's life. And that to me I thought was very beautifully done. In terms of comic book fights, there are so many that I couldn't honestly tell you. Like, literally just way too many for me to count. But I think if I had to pick one that was very engaging to me, that was very personal, I can't do it. I can't pick one, because there's so many comic book fights that in themselves are epic. Can't do it, so I guess I'll have to claim neutrality on the comic book fights, because I can't do it. Hold on, let me actually come to think of it. Well, there are so many fights. I guess technically, if I had to pick two, I would probably, out of the thousands, maybe go with the Odin Surtur battle, the first time that the two fought, and and also the Superman and Doomsday fight. But I think probably, trying to really think here, I'd say usually some of the best comic book battles, now to think about it, because I had to sit there and think for a moment. I think some of the most epic battles usually involve Darkseid and Superman, or at the very least, I don't know, there's so many, but I'll go with Superman and Darkseid. I'll go with the Superman and Darkseid fights. Just because, there are many, many different battles that I've always enjoyed in comic books, but I think I'll go with that one, because I'm I'm not necessarily strapped for time, but I kind of just want to move on and go through the rest of these questions, rather than sit here the whole video and try to decide which comic book fight I love more. So, Superman versus Darkseid. Number 6, do you think that Bane will break Batman's back in The Dark Knight Rises? I have actually seen The Dark Knight Rises, and myself, F.W. Waller, and Tanaka-Khan 1985 actually did a video reviewing and ranting on that movie. I don't know exactly when F.W. Waller is going to get it posted, because he's been having video troubles lately. I don't know if he'll have to split it up or try to find a way to fix it. But needless to say, we do talk about if Bane breaks Batman's back. Because I don't want to spoil that for everybody that hasn't seen the movie yet, so give y'all a little bit of something to hang on to. Alright, Clanders 988. Have you seen the movie Banraku? At the time of this video, I have not, but it is on my Netflix instant queue, and I'm very much interested to watch the movie if the opportunity presents itself. Number 2, have you heard that the Justice League is going to be featured in Batman Arkham 3? It's saying read it on Comic Vine. I don't go to Comic Vine. I don't even go to superherohype.com all that much anymore. I tend to stay away from most of those sites just because I kind of grew out of them. They give kind of like, pointless news anyway now half the time. I like the concept in Arkham 3 that the Justice League could show up, but ultimately I kind of really don't want them to show up, and I'll explain why. As cool as it would be to see a cameo by Flash and Superman and Wonder Woman and all that, at the core of the games, they've been very Batman-centered. And it's one of the few times where I have to admit that the Dark Knight needs to kind of stay the Dark Knight. Not that I'm saying that Rocksteady can't do it, but I have mixed feelings about it. It'd be cool to see other cameos by characters, but I also feel that, it'd be a bit of an intrusion. Keep it within Batman, or at the very least the Bat family, like Catwoman and Robin and Nightwing and stuff. But overall, have I heard of this news? No, I haven't. I'm very intrigued to see if that would actually be possibly true, but part of me is also kind of like, I hope it's just a rumor. So it's kind of a flip-flop, but I'm kind of leaning more towards, maybe make a reference to him. Maybe have like one cameo by Superman, but I just can't see that. I'm sorry. I can't see them being in Arkham 3. Even if they are cameos, I don't much care for that. Number 3. Who should be the editor-in-chief of Marvel instead of Joe Fat-Ass Quesada? And it's funny because I'll lump number 3 and number 4 here and answer both of them. I have no clue who would even be editor-in-chief besides Dan Didio and Joe Quesada for Marvel and DC respectfully. Because I don't really think about that. I don't think about who could do it. You could probably get Neil Adams for DC, but then again, I think there's a lot of bad blood between him and DC. Denny O'Neil's kind of respectfully too old. Same thing with Stan Lee. He's like 90 years old. But, so I don't know who would exactly make, for good editors-in-chief. I don't even know if Jeff Johns would be good for DC, given, his reputation in writing. But then again, Jeff Johns has wrote a few good stories here and there, so I'm not going to completely knock the guy. It really just all depends, but I don't really get involved in, the comic book archetypal, shall we say, politics of everything. So I kind of have to shoot down 3 and 4 just on the basis that I don't really know, nor do I honestly kind of care who takes over. As long as they do justice to the characters. That's all that I really care about. Number 5. Do you think Marvel will ever have a game as awesome as the Batman Arkham series? The Amazing Spider-Man movie game, while it does have a lackluster story and this and that, there's a lot of good homage. Beanox to me I love what Beanox has done with Spider-Man. A lot of people didn't like Edge in Time. I thought that it was a pretty good concept for what it was. Honestly, I think Beanox is a great company. They are what Rocksteady is to Batman. That's what they are to Spider-Man. Because Shattered Dimensions, beautiful game. Edge of Time, a little bit lackluster, but they put forth a good effort. The Amazing Spider-Man movie game that they released, a lot of people talk about how the story is lackluster. I can agree with people on that, but the gameplay, the concept itself, and every Spidey reference for all the fans that they put in there and whatnot, these guys really do show that they are huge Spider-Man fans. And it definitely shows in their games. So, I would say Shattered Dimensions and the Amazing Spider-Man movie game, to me, are definitely... They're definitely... I wouldn't say that they're completely near the level of the Arkham games. But they're pretty close for what they are. They're pretty decent in their own right. As far as Captain America, the only one is Super Soldier, and that was okay. That was like a... It was a very short game, but it was pretty much, Captain America done in an Arkham style. And I didn't actually mind a lot of the concepts that they did. And I gotta give Christos Gage credit, for the story. He did a pretty decent job in bringing Cap, not only in a section of World War II that we don't see in the movie, because that's the great part about Amazing Spider-Man, is that it's an epilogue to the movie, and for Captain America Super Soldier, it takes place within the story of First Avenger, but it's one of the scenes that was shown in that montage, like all the alternate World War II adventures that Cap had. And plus you got to face Baron von Strucker, Madame Hydra, and all that, and that was pretty good for what it was. I enjoyed it. Very short, but I enjoyed it. So, do I think that Marvel will ever produce games as awesome as the Batman Arkham series? It's kind of to and fro. They have a lot of good games and they have a lot of bad games, but for the most part, they're pretty much, they're doing their best, and I certainly do applaud Beenox for the attempts in making Spider-Man cool as they have, and they've done pretty good, I thought. A lot of people kind of knock them, but I really don't. I think they're doing pretty good for what they are with the webhead. Number 6. If Marvel Studios makes a Doctor Strange movie, who should play him? The two people that come to my mind is Odette Fair from the Mummy movies, and even though it's a very, very high long shot, Liam Neeson. I don't know why Liam Neeson is one of them, but then again, it's Liam Neeson. There's no question as to how awesome that would be, but I think Odette Fair might do pretty good as Doctor Strange, just simply because if you watch the Mummy movies, if you listen to him, because he did the voice of Dr. Fate in Justice League Unlimited, Odette Fair's voice just seems like it would fit for Doctor Strange. And even the way that he looks. Granted, he's a little bit more Middle Eastern looking, but that doesn't really bother me, because I can picture the goatee, I can picture the white streaks in the hair, I can picture him saying, by the hairy hordes of Hoggith and all the Doctor Strange spell quotes. It would actually work. I can definitely see that working. So either Liam Neeson or Odette Fair are my top 2 picks right now. As far as any other lesser known actors, that would really depend. But it's definitely got to be somebody that has a sense of mysticism to them. Like, they're mysterious, but also they have a very commanding presence that when they're on screen, you notice them immediately. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, those are my requirements kind of for Doctor Strange to be able to work. Now, go to PC Veteran 11.7 or 117. Number 1, do you think that comics are a form of literature? Yes, I do. I very much believe that comic books are no different a form of literature than mythology or even regular literature books. I believe that comic books are no different from the stories that Robert E. Howard did with Conan and Cole the Conqueror and Solomon Kane. They're no different from, actual, text word stories of, the fantasy and mythical realms. That comic books are no different, or have no more, greater, crime and mystery elements than, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes. that they're no more suspenseful than, you know, like Michael Crichton or Dean Koontz or any of the other writers, that the horror elements that they can put in comics are no more scary or just like, you know, messed up as like Stephen King. So, do I believe that comic books are a form of literature? Absolutely. In a sense, they are picture and word, you know, pieces of literature. Because most people, you read the text and you use your imagination, but with comic books, an artist can draw a scene, and it's no different from doing like textual literature. It's just you're visually seeing what could potentially be in your mind's eye on the page. I mean, look at some of the stuff that Jack Kirby and Stan Lee did with, you know, Thor back in the day. I mean, look at the way that Kirby drew Asgard. Look at his Fourth World stuff, you know, showing New Genesis and, you know, and the planet Apocalypse. I mean, those are very strong, powerful, and highly imaginative pieces of imagery. And that works very well because, in a sense, it's not just a comic book, it's not just a kiddie book, but it's a legit piece of literature. And a lot of people seem to down comic books for that. And most of those people, I feel, are very ignorant and stupid because comic books are very much no different from a novel. So, to reiterate, yes, I do believe that comic books are very much a form of literature. Are you going to continue your Lesser Known But Awesome Heroes series? It's the second question that he poses to me. Actually, it's funny because yesterday I actually was tinkering around with making a list of, in this quote-unquote next season, when I, you know, if and when I get around to it, and when I return it. You guys will never know when I'm going to return it or give a preview or any such thing like that. I'm going to come completely out of the blue with it. But I'm making a list, guys, I'm making a list not just for you, PC Veteran, but for anybody who's watching this. I'm making a list. And I assure you, some of the characters that I put on this list, they're not going to completely blow your minds, like it's not going to be orgasmic, but I will tell you this much, there's a lot of characters that some of y'all are going to get anime sparkle-eyed and, you know, pee your pants over. And some that you may look at and you're like, wow, I never knew this character existed, so I'm compiling a pretty good list. A decent list of characters that you guys may be surprised about. However, I will drop one hint, there are a few Jack Kirby creations that I will be talking about in this next season. So, for those of you who are big-time Kirby fans, especially F.W. Waller, you guys will enjoy the Kirby creations very much. Matter of fact, I actually told F.W. Waller, and he was pretty interested. He was pretty psyched. So, I will be continuing Lesser Known But Awesome Heroes. It's my premier segment, dude. I'm not going to get rid of my bread and butter, if you will, on YouTube. I'm still on hiatus because I want to give F.W. Waller time to get caught up on his Supervillains Explored. But also, I kind of want to get, at least before I return the segment, a few videos under my belt that are not, you know, just Lesser Known But Awesome Hero stuff. I still need to do my top 10 lists, including, you know, the top 10 X-Men characters list from like months or almost a half a year ago or so that 2 Mercy requested. So, but I'm not going to rush myself either. I'm not going to kill myself to get these out. I'll get them out when I get them out, and if I do, I do. If I don't ever get them done, oh well. At least I can say that it was on my list of things to do. But I'm getting carried away and I'm rambling on. Number 3, do you watch Dragon Ball DBZ or Dragon Ball GT? I used to watch. I have watched an episode or 2 of Dragon Ball, and I used to watch DBZ quite a bit. But after a while, I lost interest in it because it just got stupid. It was the same thing. It was Goku sitting there, you know, shitting his pants while going Super Saiyan, blowing up half the goddamn world. I lost interest in it after a while because it got stupid. And, you know, Piccolo's just sitting there trying to be all Piccolo and shit. I can't deal with that. It got to be too much. Number 4. Do you think Hollywood is misrepresenting comic book characters? Oh, I could go down a whole entire fucking laundry list with this question. But I'll give you a basic answer. Yes, I very much believe that Hollywood is strongly misrepresenting comic book characters. But then again, with the Avengers coming out and all the stuff that Marvel's doing, especially their like Phase 2 stuff that they're doing, it seems like, the public and Hollywood are a lot more open to letting comic book characters be shown the way that they should properly be shown. Now, if only Warner Brothers, and myself and many others are going to keep bashing this to the point, now if Warner Brothers would just quit forcing DC to blow them, then maybe, just maybe, we would get a Wonder Woman movie finally. But then again, that won't happen for the next, 10,000 fucking years. Green Lantern, Flash, maybe a decent Aquaman movie where it's not based off the Super Friends version that everybody hates. And note the sarcasm in my voice as I say this. I do believe that Hollywood misrepresents a lot of comic book characters, but I think it also has to do, not so much with Hollywood, but I think the studios. It's more the studios and publishers. Because Warner Brothers, they have a great potential to create a lot of good, like, DC films, but they want to keep, riding, I almost said Marvel, riding DC's ass. It's like, if they would quit dry humping DC all the time, then maybe, just maybe, we would actually have had a great Green Lantern movie. Jonah Hex would have been a great, dark, gritty, Wild West movie. But unfortunately, DC, all they care about is, cha-ching. So unfortunately, we're going to have to, I guess, deal with that till DC has enough, says fuck that shit, and then decides to basically grab their own dick and ram it up their ass. We won't ever see that happen, mind you, but I'm just saying. But, yeah, I do believe that Hollywood is misrepresenting comic book characters, or at the very least, the studios that work in Hollywood. Number 5. Have you read any Marvel comics that are based on the Stephen King stories? No, I have not. I really don't care for Stephen King as an author. I don't care for him that much as a person. Although I did like The Shining, and I kind of moderately liked Langoliers, and I did laugh my ass off at it. But, nah, I haven't. I don't read Stephen King stuff. It's not that as a person I don't really hate him. He's one of those people that you look at and you're kind of creeped out by. Like, inadvertently. Plus, just reading his stories, his horror stories, they don't do anything for me. They just don't. And I really have no desire to read Dark Tower anyway, or even The Gunslinger. So, the answer is no. Number 6. How many times did DC and Marvel reboot their universes? At the most, DC's probably rebooted their universes, if I remember correctly. I want to say like 2, 3, possibly 4 times. I probably want to say 3. Like maybe 3 times now, New 52 included, that they've probably redone their universe. As far as Marvel, it's maybe been once or twice. Like, they're probably the least rebooted universe. Whereas DC always apparently seems to want to reboot their universe every 20 years or so. I want to say, though that's me being cocky. Senior Nerd. Number 1, do my videos blow your mind? From what videos I have seen, I don't really get to watch all that many people's other videos, sadly. It's not anything personal, dude. It's just, I do tend to get busy because like many people, I do have a life outside of YouTube, a job, and I got to deal with, and I do hang out with friends and whatnot. But I do try, at least. I do try to watch other people's videos. But from what I've seen of your videos, especially the Being the Defender videos, I wouldn't say that they blow my mind, but I do enjoy them. I do very much enjoy them. Number 2, do you still have a MySpace account? No. I used to. I will admit I used to have a MySpace account, but I don't anymore. I don't use MySpace. I predominantly now kind of use Facebook. Number 3, will Dark Knight Rises win Best Picture at the Oscars? I don't watch the Oscars, so I can't really comment on that question. Number 4, what villains do you want to see in the Amazing Spider-Man sequel? I would love to see a metahuman powered and also a tech-based Vulture and Electro. I want to see a meta power based Electro or a technology based Vulture. And maybe possibly have a cameo by the Chameleon, or maybe even have the Chameleon be like the main bad guy in the sequel. But definitely if they do a third movie, gotta add Kraven. You have to have Kraven. So I would love to absolutely, see these characters. If they find a way to actually make Kraven fit in the sequel, I won't complain about that either. I want to see a live-action Spider-Man movie where Spidey tangles with Kraven. Because I've already seen Doc Ock. I've already seen him take on Doc Ock, so it's like now I want to see him take on Kraven. So those are my choices. Number 5. Have you ever killed a Puerto Rican for headband money? No, but I did once, but I did thumb wrestle John Rambo for his bandana and chain gun, and I'm going to tell you right now, my thumb is still recovering. Matter of fact, my thumb has actually become like double jointed after that thumb war. But no, I haven't killed a Puerto Rican for headband money. Although there was that one time that I did beat the shit out of George Lopez and found like a thong style do-rag, but we're not going to get into that. Number 6. I love this. And lastly, can I get a what? No. Just no. I wish people could see my reaction to that. Nah, dude, I gave up, the funky fresh, white boy days in like junior high and stuff, dude. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Nah. Alright. Linerman0245. That's going to be with me throughout the rest of the video. Can I get a what? Okay, if you controlled Cartoon Network, what would you do? A. Sell it. B. Declare bankruptcy. C. Take it in a new direction. Or D. Fire some people. I would probably take it in a new direction. I don't know what direction that would be, and I don't know really how I would go about it, but I would try to take it in a new direction. Number 2, if you create your own comics, what elements would you put in it? The themes of failure, redemption, responsibility, the element that just because you come from a different background doesn't mean that you still can't do good. The basic cliche superhero archetypal elements that you would want in a story that a lot of creators and companies seem to be forgetting. Yeah. Number 3. If you were put into a video game, voice, appearance, and all, how would you react? On one hand, I'd be giddy, but on the other hand, I'd be creeped out, considering how video game technology kind of makes everything look semi-photorealistic. It'd creep me out that I'd see a video game version of me staring right back at me. And I'd probably be a little bit scared that he'd jump right out of the little digital computer and kick my ass. No, but in all seriousness, I would try to be very humble, but part of me would probably do like the whole, yeah, bitches in your face, and slam my nuts right into somebody's face. Because that's what I do when I'm extremely happy and I feel like telling people to suck my dick and kiss my ass. I take my meat and 2 veg and I just slam it in people's faces while teabagging them. Don't judge me, it's just my way of celebrating. But that would actually be pretty cool. It'd be a surreal experience. Number 4. What if independent comic book characters started getting their own video games? I am so opting for a Shadow, Green Hornet, or Flash Gordon game. If they make a Doc Samson game, I'm not going to complain either. Hell, I would love to see a Doc Samson game. Punch out giant bees, wrestle a giant 20-foot tall anaconda, decapitate a giant wasp by using its own stinger to cut its head off. Yeah, Doc Samson would be that epic. Anyway, number 5. What is the most annoying aspect about video gaming? Or not video gaming, but video making, I should say. Probably what I'm doing right now, which is like reshoots and redos. That to me is the most annoying part of the video making process. Because when I'm doing a video and I have to do a reshoot because the audio's messed up or the video's not showing up or a particular picture is not showing up or the video skips, it's very, very annoying. And it's very tedious, especially if you worked hard, you got all your points across, and then you realize that, fuck, you gotta do it all over again. Very, very annoying aspect of video making, and probably the most tragic and sad one. So, that's that. Lastly, if you were charged with remaking a piece of fiction, what changes would you make to it? Child's Play, The Warriors, Star Fox, Rystar, Yu-Yu Hakusho, or Fist of the North Star? Well, if I chose Fist of the North Star, I'd take out that stupid shit that you see Kenshiro actually do. No, I probably wouldn't change, Fist of the North Star, because that's such a complicated story from what I've read and from cliff notes I've seen that there's no way I could fucking change that. I'd leave Yu-Yu Hakusho alone because it's got a cool, trippy, supernatural sci-fi type element to it. I'd leave Rystar alone. I'd definitely leave The Warriors and Child's Play alone. I'd probably go with Star Fox. Just because I feel that the video game series, it started out okay, but then it kind of started getting a little bit fucking weird after a while, especially with Adventures, and I would change probably the way that Fox and Crystal meet. Like maybe she sends out a distress call rather than him crash landing on the planet. And maybe in this reboot, Slippy would not be fucking useless. Oh my god, Fox, I need help. Oh my god, I'm such a useless fucking character. I'm always constantly getting shot down and make frog legs out the asshole. Though I wouldn't change the rabbit. The rabbit to me is cool. Granted, he gets annoying by telling you to do a barrel roll, but it's for your own good. I don't know. I would probably add in like a Deus Ex Machina type twist where Falco actually ends up betraying Fox and for a while becomes the villain because of his jealousy, because of the jealousy that he is a better leader than Fox. Almost kind of like that Naruto Sasuke type shit. Only difference is that Falco would eventually redeem himself. And I wouldn't make the main bad guy this creepy, nightmarish, fucking giant pig head with, like giant free-floating hands. Still cannot believe that that's actually a boss. That's the main enemy of Star Fox. Oh, he killed my father. If a giant head killed your father, I could believe Galactus killing his father more than that thing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, moving on to Thor Fan 85. How many miles must a man walk before you can call him a man? It really depends on the journey. Some men must walk to the ends of the earth. Some must walk a great distance, and some only need to step outside their door. For it is not the journey as much as it is the experience, it isn't so much the journey but the experience of wondering. What is outside of my realm of comfortability? What is outside the world that I know? And it's in the moment when you understand that within this world that there is a great responsibility that even you don't see, but you acknowledge that it's there. That is when you can truly call yourself a man. And I can't believe I actually just said that. Okay. Number 2, how many licks does it take to get to truly reach the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? Probably till you're long, long dead, like thousands of years later. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? She's under Manhattan. She's in the Marvel Universe under Manhattan with the Mole Man. Number 4, who framed Roger Rabbit? Howard the fucking Duck. Yeah. Number 5, Doc Samson versus the Shadow. I can't really go one way or the other because the Man of Bronze and the Shadow are both equally characters that I enjoy, so I can't really go either which way. But I guess if I had to pick a winner, it'd probably be Doc Samson, simply because the Shadow has the ability to cloud men's minds. But Doc Samson is more physically trained and tactile than Batman. This guy has mentally, physically, emotionally, every aspect trained himself to be perfect. So as much as I'd hate to say it, I don't think the Shadow's got a fucking chance. Number 6, if you could have dinner with any female superhero, who would it be and what would you talk about? Wonder Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman, and simply I would base this choice. What would we talk about? We would probably talk about the world and how we would love to change it. We would have a very deep intellectual conversation about not only the world but also, humanity in general. Like it would basically be I would basically have a very deep philosophical conversation with her. Because I feel that, Wonder Woman's just that kind of person. You could have a deep intellectual conversation with her. And she wouldn't get mad or snarky like fucking Bill O'Reilly. She would actually, legitimately, listen to your opinions, respectfully disagree, or respectfully agree. Either which way, no fucking problem. None whatsoever. So I'd go with Wonder Woman based on those choices. Let's see. Look through here. Hang on. Let's see. Okay, I got Thor fan 85. Yeah, I'm looking here right now, guys. I've only got one other question from FW Waller, but I'm looking at King Swaga's comments, and I'm trying to figure out if he's trying to ask me a question or if he's just making a statement. I think he's just making a statement, so I'm gonna disregard his stuff. FW Waller only had one question, and he's the last question, of course. What would be your ultimate team-up, Steve? The team-up that would be your answer to Batman and Space Ghost. You're really gonna go there, aren't you, Ian? I would probably say one of two scenarios. Either a 1930s depressional version where Ben Grimm, the Goon, and Hellboy team up to fight crime alongside the Goon's partner, there we go, Frankie, and the guy who would be working alongside Frankie, fucking Ambush Bug. So Ambush Bug, Frankie, the Goon, Ben Grimm, Hellboy. What can really go wrong with that combination? None whatsoever. Though the other scenario is a complete 70s exploitation era deal, where Black Dynamite, Luke Cage, Bullhorn, Honeybee, and all them, like all the characters from Black Dynamite, his crew, and then you got Misty Knight, Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, Bruce Lee, and fucking Luke Cage, all together, all in like a 70s exploitation era piece, fighting the fiendish Dr. Wu, the Man, probably Richard Nixon, and all that stuff. And you'd have a special guest appearance, and you'd have special guest appearances by Jim Kelly. Fucking, who else was there in the 70s? Jim Kelly, maybe Richard Roundtree. Like, you could make it the ultimate, like, kung fu blaxploitation crossover kind of shit with, like, Marvel and whatnot. Or hell, even add in DC characters, like an ultimate comic book, movie, blaxploitation, kung fu exploitation, just fucking, like, you know, mega event. And have, like, all this 70s versions of these characters. Even have Black Lightning with his disco, like, blue and yellow lightning laced, you know, jumpsuit with the fucking afro and shit. It could work. I'm telling you, it could fucking work. And it'd be the only time that we would actually see Black Dynamite roundhouse kick Chuck Norris into Superman. Yeah, that's right. I fucking went there. I went that crazy. And plus, you know, have Black Dynamite and Bruce Lee fight to an epic standstill. I can imagine that in my mind to no end. I just went fucking off the wall with that. But anyway, guys, that's all the questions. That's all the questions that I got for this Q&A. And as you can tell, pretty much no other questions were asked. And yeah, that's it. That's the Q&A for pretty much, you know, this I don't want to say this month, but for this, kind of occasion, I just thought it'd be fun to do a Q&A, maybe answer a few people's questions, see what I got. But I'd also like, at the end of this video, to make a special announcement. And no, it's not the return of lesser known but awesome heroes. But this more or less applies to the Mount Vernon Kid, Ziploc Gory, Tanaka Khan, even Clanders and FW Waller and such. Guys, I have a special video next month, the month of August, because this is currently still July 31st at the timing of this recording and this video and so on and so forth. Guys, I have a special video in August. And especially, Chris, you may be interested in this. So you guys can hit me up on Skype. You guys can hit me up in, like a personal message here on YouTube. And I'm going to tell you guys real quick. Well, not real quick, but I'm going to tell you guys, period. Those of you that watch my videos and FW Waller's and everybody else's. The month of August, the video that I'm referring to in this announcement, you guys are going to have fun with. Because it's going to be a great video. I think I finally got my Pamela call recorder stuff fixed. Because I was having problems with Pamela. But all I'm going to say is that August is going to be, the month of August itself is going to celebrate a certain character. A certain character whose birthday is going to be next month. Now, I'm not going to tell you who that character is, or how old they're turning. But what I will tell you is that it's going to be a very amazing, perhaps maybe, well, if I can get everybody in there, it'll be a sensational lineup. And yes, I'm purposely doing that for mocking reasons. And hopefully, if I can get together with everybody and just I'll have and actually be able to get Pamela to work for the video, it'll certainly be, I hope, not only for myself but for everybody that would be involved with said video, that it will be a spectacular experience. And I'm done doing fucking puns, because I'm about ready to pee my pants laughing. Anyway, guys, that's it for my Q&A, this and that, and all the other stuff. Peace, love, chicken grease, what the fuck ever. Steve has left the building, and Steve is out this bitch. Yeah!